Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. I feel better, but I have a little laryngitis, so can you guys hear me okay? So Pastor Tom invited me to be one of the people who spoke up here today for a few minutes about why we feel that any of the goals that we came up with at the retreat are important for the church. And I got super excited and said, of course, I just love public speaking so much. Surprisingly, the other times I spoke, I was able to figure out what I was going to say pretty quickly, but not this time. I tried to bow out at the board meeting. I told Pastor Tom that I was drawing a blank, and he said, "That's the best place to start." I said, okay. So I appreciate his input on this, which is one of our goals from the retreat, to have Pastor Tom help develop our lay-led ministry skills prior to his leaving in June. I've been up here to speak 4 times since I started coming here a long time ago during a service. One time was on Zoom during COVID, and I only had Maggie Reister on my screen, so it was pretty much like I was just talking to her. She laughed and looked interested at all the appropriate times, so that was helpful, and it wasn't really like standing up here, so that, I don't know if that one really counts. But I think the fact that I frequently feel truly challenged and inadequate at times when I come up here to speak is one of the reasons that during the retreat I suggested that one of the goals for us could be to develop our lay-led worship skills with the help of Pastor Tom before he leaves. Having the wisdom and leadership imparted by a minister who's been to seminary and has training in theology is valuable, and I feel is a big reason we also set a goal to search for a new minister to follow Pastor Tom. But we are also going to have a lot of opportunities for other speakers during services. I can imagine that many of you probably also feel at least somewhat challenged and inadequate about speaking during a service. Maybe you also have a fear of public speaking or worry that you don't know what to say or how to say it. We as Unitarians believe that every voice matters, and we believe in supporting each other in our search for truth and meaning. I feel that this idea of no one person having all the answers and all of us supporting each other in our search is what separates us from other religions, and is what a lot of people that come through our doors are looking for. It's really scary sometimes for me to be up here being vulnerable and sharing my stories and challenges. But when I share my stories of my personal spiritual journey, you're able to learn from me and you're able to get to know me better and to support me along the way. And when you share your stories of your personal journey, I'm able to learn from you and I'm able to get to know you better and support you along the way. The last time I spoke during the service, I talked about a few times when I felt that I had failed to live up to being the person that I believe myself to be. Several people spoke with me after the service and said that it brought up times for them that they had also felt that way in their lives. Although we weren't coming right out and saying it, I felt that we were living the part of our covenant that says we forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. I feel like it's in times like these that we can find strength and support in each other when we share our experiences. So I'm glad that we have decided to invest some of our energy into the goal of developing our skills of sharing our stories from the pulpit. Each of us has a unique perspective that can challenge and inspire each other. So I look forward to hearing some new voices in the future. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Duncan Brown, and during the retreat of the congregation, there was a lot of interesting ideas that were raised, and I particularly sparked on the idea of energy independence for our church. It seemed like it was the most concrete thing that I could focus on and a little more definite, something that I can relate to trying to build rather than more abstract goals. When I thought about this, I had some general ideas about it, But just before the service, I realized that these ideas were not at all adequate and not at all complete. And so I went and said, who's in charge of building and grounds here? And I found out it was Tracy Ferrell. And then there was Tracy in the kitchen putting some trash bags underneath the counter for future use. So I went right up to him and talked to him for a while to understand a little more about what this challenge is with energy independence for our church. I learned that we have 5 furnaces. 2 of them are antiquated in the basement and 3 are relatively new. I learned that we're spending about $10,000 a year on those furnaces to keep the place heated, and I guess they help with cooling somewhat, but I don't know. So my thought about energy independence is simply that it's a good idea, and it's also a helpful idea for keeping the budget in a better situation. Money spent on heating and cooling kind of goes out the window, you might say. So if we can keep that price lower, that's a good thing. And the first thing that I see that we need to do with reaching energy independence is understanding exactly where we are and where we can go. So to that end, I mentioned to Tracy the idea of an energy audit, and he said that one had not been done recently. So on a concrete level, if we want to go to energy independence, we have to know where we are, how much we're spending. One very important thing is for us to get as efficient as possible, because if we want to try to replace incoming gas and electricity with our own generating electricity, we have to know how much we need. We have to know what scale we need. So the very first thing that I am very excited about and interested in is, can we get an energy audit? To that end, I'm making this donation to the church aimed toward an energy audit. I want to encourage all of you who are interested in this, and you expressed an interest in this goal in the meeting of the congregation, that we get this energy audit as quickly as we can so we can understand more, and then we can go to next steps like considering replacing those 2 antiquated furnaces with heat pumps, which are extremely efficient, and then we can go from there. And so thank you very much.
Good morning, church. Good morning. We just had to talk about that downstairs, didn't we? Which is hilarious because that's what I was planning on saying here this morning. Because what does church really mean? I mean, it's our community, right? It means so many different things, but we don't say it a lot. So, I mean, today I want to talk a little bit about the things we talked about in the congressional retreat, about how to move along in the future and just suggestions and what we could possibly do. I know I'm relatively new here compared to a lot of you who've been here 150 years. So, my point of view so far, thank you, Jerry. My point of view so far here is more in an observation. So the things that I will say are things that I have observed since I got here. Speaking of the first time that I got here, I moved up here from Florida. I was raised in Florida. I was born here, but I was raised in Florida. And I came back for these beautiful winters. Because I'm one who likes to experience all of life. So, and they say, go back up north. You'll get all the seasons. It'll be great. Like, most of them are pretty good. But when I came here, I was searching for a community to be a part of. I was searching for a place to go. Maybe not for a religion to be a part of, but for a community to be a part of. And I searched around a lot of places. Now, down in the South, the unity movement is pretty big and open to everyone. And I had never heard of a UU church when I was down there. So this was not my first pick when I first came. But when I did come here, I'm trying out all the churches that were on my list. I noticed the community here was a little bit different. There was not much judgment from everybody because everyone here relishes in their differences, which I thought was pretty neat to start a community with. That should be an opening for new people to come in if they feel that community beforehand. Now, I can't remember exactly how it worked out, but I ended up downstairs in the basement, just like this morning, because someone asked me, do you want to go to Spirit Circle? And of course, being my first time here, I just said yes to everything. So, and it was different for me. That was my opening to this community. So even that in the past 5 or 6 years has already evolved into something different that seems more comfortable. I remember leaving the door and going, I'm not quite sure about this place. And I remember an older gentleman, whose name is Jerry, caught me at the door and said, hey, thanks for coming. Welcome. If you didn't enjoy what happened today, please come back or whatever. It's always different. It's always changing. And if there's something else you're looking for, come on Tuesday night. Which I did. And here we are 8 years later or whatever it is, and I'm still coming back over and over again. So when we had that retreat, we were trying to find ways to not only improve, but move forward on the great history of this place. And one of them, was one of the ideas that came up was a congressional mentor program for new members and visitors. And it kind of struck me because I had my own story here, which I'm sure that everyone here has had their own story. Any other new people here that within the first year here? Thank you. Very nice. And I thought that idea to make a first impression on people was a pretty big one. Because before everyone gets to know us and love us, they have to keep coming back, right? But on your first couple of times, if you don't get a warm first impression or a welcoming smile or community feeling, maybe you don't come back. So for that, I thought that we would come up with some new ideas to sort of, not manufacturing that to happen, but sort of planting the seed for people to come back and come back. Now, we didn't talk about this there, but while I was preparing to come up here and talk to you about this, I remembered down in the South that when new people come, there's a certain table that is reserved for new people. And if you're new, you're asked to sort of sit at that new table. Also, if you're in the service, there's a bit of information that you give you. Everyone that usually asks you to raise your hand if you're new and this is your first time, and then you'll receive some information. But what you're really receiving is the love of the community, because probably want you to come back. So I suggest that we have a newcomer table out during our coffee hour or beforehand with the reserve sign for new people. And we all go over there and introduce ourselves and show some of our community love to those people. Let's see, one second. I did not write all my stuff down on paper like everybody else. And I did not bring a check, sir. And thank you for making me come after that. That's a tough act to follow. I'm a pretty good speaker, but that's good. So this came to mind when I was thinking about that, and this little phrase came to mind. Is just like a gardener does not force his seeds or his flowers or his vegetables to grow. He cannot force that to happen. We do not know what's going to happen. But he can make the best case scenario for that to happen. He could set up the optimal solution for that to happen. So I'm suggesting that we come up with a way to make the optimal solution for a new person to come in here and instantly want to become a part of our community. And a first impression can only be made once. Now, I had all this stuff written out here. Hold on one second. And Pastor Tom helped me out with it a little bit, but I, again, did not print it out. So the other part was the lay-led services, which I've spoken up here a couple of times myself, and I've had a really good time. But I'm not sure if the subjects that I picked have given everyone else a real warm, fuzzy feeling. So, as Michele said about the training for speaking after Pastor Tom leaves, I think it's very important that we sort of tailor these talks so that everybody gets a little something out of it. Of course, they're personal experiences, and we're all getting to know each other that way. But in the end, on Sunday, for church, for me, I want to have sort of a warm heart feeling by the end of the day. And I feel like we're all pretty similar in that way. We come here for community. We come here to be together, to help each other, to show each other love. But we all also, I think, would like to go home with a nice warm feeling in our heart from what we heard that day. And those are my suggestions. So thank you for listening.
Thank you to the three of you for sharing some thoughts. And I'd like to invite everybody into a moment of meditation together, just on whatever you heard. So whatever helps you to enter into that space, whether it's closing your eyes or lowering your gaze or putting your hands in a particular position, maybe palms up or palms down, or putting your feet on the ground, whatever helps you enter into a meditative space. Just to let sift in whatever you heard from these three folks. Let it sift down from whatever your mind grabbed onto, whatever your heart grabbed onto. Let that start to flourish inside of you as the rest of the bits just kind of fall away. What's stuck with you? Maybe it was something they said, some words that ushered from their mouth. Maybe it was just something about the way they were up here. Maybe it was even something that was going on inside of you that they helped trigger and bring forth inside of you. What of your own gifts might have been spoken to? What of your own calling, your own ability to touch the world outside of yourself. Not even in a grand gesture sort of way, just in a small, active way. Some movement out of any sense of passivity or going with the flow. What part of you feel moves to act? To have an impact on the world around you? To join with others in doing so? And investing in the thing worth doing well done? And supporting each other in bringing our gifts of love and service to the world, and setting things up for the optimal outcome to occur. Whatever piece in you might identify, or maybe even just a question, maybe you're not able to identify one. Maybe it's just a question that you might hold of what would that even be? What action might I be inspired to take? I invite you to hold that within yourself, outside of this space, outside of this hour, and carry it with you throughout the rest of the week. May that be so.
We choose to welcome the Spirit of life, join in our aliveness, and share our resources. This month, we are sharing our loose change for social change with Hearts in Motion. Through December 15th, we will be collecting to help Hearts in Motions provide a better Christmas for abused women and their children. The money in the baskets goes to sustaining the mission of our congregation. The money in the cups goes to Hearts in Motion. For those not with us in person today, there is an online link for both one-time and regular donations. Would 4 volunteers please come forward to carry the baskets and the cups? Thank you. For your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts, we are truly grateful. Another way we walk together is by joining together for fun and fellowship. And we do have an insert in your bulletin. It's important information. I encourage you to read that. Also, if you are interested in becoming a new member, this Wednesday, 6 o'clock on Zoom, and also next Wednesday, we will have a new membership class. So it's on Zoom, so you can stay at home and be comfortable. And still come, but if you'd like to join the church and you haven't been to any of the other sessions, I encourage you to come to those. Thank you. We will be having a one-man Christmas Carol fundraiser on Sunday, December 22nd, featuring Grant Fitch. Doors open at 5 p.m. for appetizers and cash bar. Show will be at 6 p.m. Tickets are $25 at the door. Bring your friends and family to this fun holiday event. The angel tree is up today in the parish hall. There are still 2 children's names available on the tree. Sign up and take an ornament if you would like to shop for a child on the tree. The family is also expecting a newborn at Christmas time, so newborn gifts will be welcome as well. No need to sign up for those. Gifts are due by December 15th, unwrapped with receipts. See Michele if you have any questions. We are partnering with Citizens for a Sustainable Hobart to collect 1,000 pounds of plastic bag waste within the next 10 months. If we meet the challenge, there will be a bench built out of recycling materials for our community. The Shirley Hines Land Trust will be contacted to determine a location. The bin is located in the parish hall. Please read the signs posted in the parish hall about what can and cannot be collected in the box, as there has been some materials that are not able to be recycled by this company found in the box. Faith in Action has moved its meeting to this Thursday, December 5th at 6 p.m. due to the holiday. Please join us on the church Zoom if you would like to help us find new ways to put our faith into action in the community. Hymn. Now, please rise and body your spirit to join me in singing 1018, Come and Go With Me. Okay. Closing words. Number 693 by V. Emil Gudmundsson. And now, may we have faith in life to do wise planting. that the generations that come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality.
Peace has tried us. Hope inside of us. Hope inside of us. Will lead the way. Will lead the way. On that road front. On the road front. Read to giving. Love will guide us. Through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, sing like angels. If you cannot speak before thousands, speak before thousands. You can give from deep within you. You can change the world. You can change the world with your love. With your love. Love will guide us. Love will guide us. Peace inside us. Hope inside of us. Hope inside of us. Will lead the way. On that road front. On the road front. Read to giving. Hope will guide us. Through the hard night. Through the hard night. Peace inside us. Love will guide us. Through the hard night.
That was fabulous. Okay. Whew. I invite you now to join me in reciting the words in blue as we extinguish our chalice. May we continue to carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment until we are together again. Please join us for coffee hour.